Today, priority review designations in bladder cancer and liver cancer, a clinical hold lifted in myelofibrosis, promising findings in pancreatic cancer, and an acquisition by Takeda. Welcome to Enclave News Network. I'm Gina Columbus. The FDA has granted a priority review to a supplemental new drug application for the use of atezolizumab in cisplatin-ineligible patients with locally advanced or metastatic urothelial carcinoma. The indication would be as a frontline therapy or following progression occurring more than 12 months after neoadjuvant or adjuvant chemotherapy. The sNDA is based on data from the single-arm Phase 2 IMvigor210 trial. In a study cohort of 119 cisplatin-ineligible treatment-naive patients, the objective response rate with atezolizumab at a median 17.2 months follow-up was 23%. This includes a complete response rate of 9%. The PD-L1 inhibitor already has accelerated approval as a treatment for patients with locally advanced or metastatic urothelial carcinoma whose disease progressed during or after platinum-based chemotherapy, or less than 12 months after receiving platinum-containing chemotherapy either before or after surgery. The approval occurred in May 2016. The accelerated approval is contingent on results from an ongoing confirmatory Phase 3 study, IMvigor211, which is comparing atezolizumab with chemotherapy in patients with locally advanced or metastatic urothelial bladder cancer who have progressed on at least one prior platinum-containing regimen. In liver cancer, the FDA also granted a priority review designation to a supplemental new drug application for the use of regorafenib as a second-line treatment for patients with unresectable disease. The application is based on the Phase 3 RESOURCE trial, in which the median overall survival was 10.6 months with regorafenib plus best supportive care versus 7.8 months for placebo plus best supportive care, which represented a 38% reduction in the risk of death. Regorafenib, which is an oral kinase inhibitor, is currently approved by the FDA for the treatment of patients with metastatic colorectal cancer, as well as advanced gastrointestinal stromal tumors. The FDA has lifted its clinical hold on trials exploring the JAK2 FLT3 inhibitor pacritinib. In February 2016, the agency placed a full hold on pacritinib studies following reports of patient deaths related to intracranial hemorrhage, cardiac failure, and cardiac arrest in the Phase 3 PERSIST-2 myelofibrosis trial. In order to rectify the holds, CTI Biopharma provided the FDA with final clinical study reports from the PERSIST-1 and 2 myelofibrosis trials and initiated the new PAC-203 trial. The PAC-203 study is examining the safety and efficacy of pacritinib in patients with primary myelofibrosis who previously received ruxolitinib. Patients will receive pacritinib at 100 milligrams once daily, 100 milligrams twice daily, or 200 milligrams twice daily. The planned enrollment for the trial is 105 patients, which CTI Biopharma, the manufacturer of pacritinib, will likely launch in spring 2017. In pancreatic cancer, results from a Phase 2 trial show that the addition of PEG-PH20 to standard nab-paclitaxel and gemcitabine demonstrated improvements in progression-free survival versus nab-paclitaxel and gemcitabine alone for untreated patients with advanced disease. The best results in the trial, labeled Study 202, were seen in patients with high expression levels of the biomarker hyaluronan. Across 279 patients in the study, the primary endpoint of median PFS was 6.0 months in the PEG-PH20 arm versus 5.3 months for nab-paclitaxel and gemcitabine. The overall response rate was 40% with PEG-PH20 and 33% in the control arm. For patients with hyaluronan expression on 50% of cells, the median PFS was 9.2 months with PEG-PH20, compared with 5.2 months in the control arm. However, overall survival was not significantly improved. The ORR in these patients was 45% with PEG-PH20 versus 31% in the control arm. Takeda recently expanded its global oncology portfolio when it announced that it entered into a definitive agreement with Ariad Pharmaceuticals. Under the agreement, Takeda will acquire all of the outstanding shares in Ariad for $24 per share, for a total value of approximately $5.2 billion. The transaction was approved by the boards of directors of both companies and is expected to close by the end of February 2017. This is subject to required regulatory approvals and other customary closing conditions. Acquiring Ariad adds brigatinib and ponatinib to Takeda's established oncology portfolio. Brigatinib currently has an FDA priority review for use in patients with metastatic ALK-positive non-small cell lung cancer who are resistant to prior crizotinib. A final approval decision is scheduled by April 29, 2017. Ponatinib has approved indications for the treatment of patients with CML and ALL. Takeda's existing oncology products include 3 hematology drugs: brentuximab vedotin, which is approved for Hodgkin lymphoma and ALCL, bortezomib, which is approved for multiple myeloma and mantle cell lymphoma, and ixazomib, which is approved for multiple myeloma. That's all for today. Thank you for watching Enclave News Network. I'm Gina Columbus.